Mm.
Arti, it is so wonderful to have you on Filmy Shilmi, and we're doing an interview after what, I think 5 years since
Yes,
Car.
yes, yes, yeah, 5 years, yes,
I mean,
yes.
God, I mean, and what a monster you've created with Mrs. Huh? It's a
Thank
very
you.
beautiful film.
Thank
Um, I, I mean, obviously, it was a very. I think the word to describe it was extremely discomforting.
you.
I think I felt very discomforted, but as discomforted we felt as audiences. I mean, given the fact that this is the official adaptation of The Great Indian Kitchen,
Yeah.
um, how discomforted did you feel as a creator whilst making it, actually?
Yeah, no, the original people have a very strong relationship with the original. So I was very worried taking up this job, but also I felt that like it's a story that needs to be told to a wider audience. And while making this film, I spoke to a lot of girls, especially in the North India. And a lot of those girls were almost 10 years or 12 years younger than me. Some were like might have gone to better schools and better colleges than me, and they were facing this. So I felt a added responsibility to tell this story correctly and with a lot of love. I also wanted to bring in some female gaze to it because, I have a very strong relationship with my own mother, and I've seen this happening to her. I've seen this happening to, a lot of cousin sisters whom I used to look up to. I used to say, I'm going to grow up and be like this Didi. And I've saw them get married and get lost and become invisible in that, in their family responsibilities. So I was bringing in those nuances also. And of course, from my own life also, like the small things about, marriage as a series of small heartbreaks where first time he shares a cup of tea, but second times he doesn't share with her. Like he just gets on with his life. So I was bringing in those things also. And it's a tough film to make because you have to, as a director, you end up, even though the actor is the center of it, experiences this emotion the most. But as a director also, because you're envisioning the film throughout, the more you find out about it, the more restless you become. That why is
Mhm.
this such a reality? Why is this? And then you think about so many uh, women whose life has whose the reality of their life is this movie, and so, like in fact, ours movie is much milder because now after the film is released and people make so many reels and so many people say this is much milder than what I went through. And that is even heartbreaking to read and hear, that this is nothing. What I went through, I even went through a proper physical abuse and this and that. So it's yeah, it's heartbreaking in a way. I hope that the film starts the right conversations. I don't know how much films can change, but this
Mhm.
has been felt. It feels like a conversation everybody's having in their homes because a lot of women say that I saw it and then I saw it with my mother, then I saw it with my father, and we had those conversations that what do you think about it? So it's nice that this film has been made, and yeah. So I feel blessed that I'm the carrier of the story in a way. Yeah, yeah,
Sure. Now, look, I mean, The Great Indian Kitchen, it was far raw. I think its greatest cinematic aspect, I think not just from a film perspective, but I think even in a social perspective, was that silence that
yeah.
the ASMR of the cooking and
Yes.
very, very subtle use of background music. Obviously, here, you couldn't make a complete copy and paste because the audience is different and the sort of
Yeah.
story and the culture is milieu is significantly different as well.
Yeah.
So for you, whilst customizing the Great Indian Kitchen, what sort of aspects did you have to be conscious about when adapting it for the Hindi
Yes. Yes.
per
Yeah.
se?
No, for me, the one of the biggest change I thought that I wanted to bring was the psychology of the central character. I wanted her to have a lot more passion for life and a lot more passion and dreams in her eyes. And I felt that in the original she was like, from the yeah, I mean, from first day itself she has a sense of that, like, she's caught up in that cycle of work. But here she was like more like keen to go and make it work, and she almost has a crush on her husband. Like when when she marries and she wants to have sex, so she buys a nightie. So she herself is very keen, and she's also a milder person because she's seeking validation. When he says he doesn't like the cooking, she's looking up cooking shows and she's trying to cook a better food for them. so she's trying to overcome her own shortcomings in a way initially. And so that was the biggest change I wanted to bring, like in terms of the psychology of the character. Like, and I thought that impacts sort of her response in every scene, like, like how she's like, trying to please and everything. Like, and also I wanted to weave in her passion a lot more. Like, as women always come back to cooking after any fight, and here I wanted to also come back to her dance reels, like many number of times, like, and find hope and energy from there. So that was the other thing. The other was that the design aspect of it, the design of kitchen, the music, of course. Like, we didn't want a see, we couldn't go complete. So even after, like, without music also sounds very beautiful. But I thought the music did add something, because we went with a very mild and very soothing music. We also did that one AMR piece also when they are cooking, So we tried to play with the music just as little as possible, but with a lot of restraint. And in fact, the music took the longest. It took us 4 5 months to work on the music of this film, because we almost went from let's not go with any music. The film is very powerful without music. But then I said, let's just have little, and also we cannot go without music in a
Mhm.
mainstream film, like, so
Yeah.
let's have that. And yeah, and in terms of look and feel, I wanted to go with some elevated realism. So I we cannot be completely like a very Bollywoodized house which will look fake, and we could go with very visceral, because that, I wanted to make sure that people see the film, especially in North India, see the film and they feel this happens in our house, rather than feel that, oh, it happens in this poorer house, or poor people do that, or like this. So they wanted people to feel that, like, this is independent of economic status, it's independent of education status. So I wanted the house to also be
Mm.
slightly relatable to everybody in a way. So and aesthetically slightly pleasing, but that's also not because of the subject, but it's also my taste. I like slightly aesthetically pleasing sets and stuff. So I worked a little bit on the color scheme of the film, of the characters, colors, and all those things. So those were my changes.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And it's interesting because I think
yeah.
even if we look at Cargo, that was also very
Yes,
culturally rooted at the same time, but it also was kind of in contemporary
yes, yes,
times. So I think you have this tendency to uh, kind of reflect on your value system in terms of the culture and
yes,
the sort of stuff we've grown up with, but at the same time also presented in a very social way. So I guess this is something which is very deep rooted in you as a filmmaker, I'm guessing,
yeah.
as well,
Yes,
right?
yes, maybe because I grew up in like this, in the small town of India, and I also used to visit my mother's native place, which is like, even smaller town, like almost like a village. So I've very closely observed life, but I've also traveled a lot since then, and I've also lived abroad. So I also have that exposure of, like, of a lot of art of different kinds. So I try to marry those aesthetics, but also I want to be true to my upbringing, true to my experience of a person growing up in India. So I try to marry both, and I think that's why also sometimes my film export well in, go do well in festivals, because I think I can bridge some gap also. I can bring some universality to my stories also, even though they are deeply rooted. Yeah. So yeah.
And
Mm.
it's interesting because I was reading, I mean, on social media, it's definitely created a lot of discussions and discourses on socials. Obviously, some people have left being divided. There's been a fraction of people that call it pseudo-feminism, that's calling it toxic feminism. Then, of course, there's people like myself who actually believe in equality and in feminism, most
Yeah.
important, that actually think that it's a very important story that needed to be told.
Yes.
I think when a piece of your art and we know what the intentions were. We know exactly how true it is because we've seen it. And it wasn't, you know, from what I've seen, it wasn't disrespecting any culture. It wasn't disrespecting our cultural stuff. It wasn't
Yeah.
disrespecting men either. It wasn't an anti-man propaganda film. It
Yes.
was purely saying about respect as a
Yeah.
basic human
Yeah.
emotion and
Yeah.
courtesy. So how do you feel about the divided comments on social media, especially when your piece of art is going through this absolute scrutiny in
Yeah.
the domain? How does that
Yeah.
make you feel?
No, it is like sort of like earlier I was like, why is this happening? And I think like just today someone wrote a very scathing kind of review, which is like, oh, this is like so toxic, and this is this, and this is once, and it's like, no, it's not like it is. I could have shown men much worse, like, and as a lot of women say that, like, oh, we were treated much worse than this, like, so we in fact not shown them as bad people. We have shown that it's their DNA, and I feel that both men and women are victims of patriarchy in sometimes, like, when the roles are so rigid, when gender roles are so rigid, it is like it doesn't benefit men also, like, because we link masculinity with money, we link it with prestige and this and that. So we don't let people thrive and just be themselves and be their fuller selves. So I feel that, and yeah, it's kind of these kind of conversations do kind of break my heart, that, oh, you're missing the point if you're not seeing this, like. And I think that's very nice, but I'm also happy, like, I saw one I see some comment negative, and someone else's replies that, instead of writing this comment, why don't you go and talk to your mother about how she feels about this film. So so there are a lot of people who are pro film also. So I sometimes feel that I'm now just an observer. It's like how you deliver a baby and then the baby's out there, like, for the world. I feel sometimes the film is like that, that there are people who have made the film their own also, and they are protecting it. So I'm happy that I don't have to go and jump in and say that, hey, no, I didn't mean that. Like, there are already people who understand the film well, and like people like yourself who understand the point of the film and can speak for the film. So that's also interesting to see how people have made the film their own. So
Mm. I think when I saw that Mrs. Obviously it had its film festival run, and when I heard it was coming on Z5 Global, I was very excited to watch it finally.
yeah,
Initially when I saw Sanya was roped in for the role, I was extremely curious to see how it was going to pan out because I think she's always been a fantastic actor and she's really proved her mettle here.
yes,
Uh, and she's done it, I mean, recently in Javan, of course, and in other films way before that. Um, I think for her, I think when we saw Nimisha, I think it was that sense of rawness that in The Great Indian Kitchen, she had that rawness, that I guess sense of vulnerability, like you said, that eyes, uski aankhon mein wo chamak, wo
huh,
bhi. But what was it that you looked at for in Sanya? And it's very easy to kind of like, rope in a big star for this
yeah,
for this this for this for this role just to kind
yeah,
of get action and get the eyeballs, especially because even Rani Mukherjee had appreciated the
yeah.
great.
Great Indian Kitchen.
So what was your sort of ideals and your
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
process of Sanya on board?
No, I thought because I felt that I wanted young girls to relate to the story, and I think Sanya has a very beautiful child woman quality to herself, and there's a freshness to her, and she's also a person with a lot of empathy. And she could get those some pathos, and she could communicate them very well, like with a lot of nuance. So that was also, I like. She's not just a great artist who worked very hard, but also I felt that uh yeah, I think that for me, the of course, but the look of the character is very important, like the child womanness, the fresh faces is. I felt that in reality also, if someone like Sanya would get married to a story or family like this, she would also probably be keen to please initially. She would also be very excited for her marriage and have that passion for life. So I thought she really fitted the bill, and and I think it will be very heartbreaking to see someone, a character like her, to as the lights get, like, the dimming of the light that happens. I thought it'll be, you will feel, as an audience, you would feel like reaching out to her. So I thought that she was like the perfect cast for a story like this, like when I saw her. So yeah,
Mm. I think for the longest amount of time, when it comes to making social oriented films, I feel like what's happened is filmmakers tend to uh, basically, I don't want to use this, I don't know how to phrase it, I guess romanticize the
yeah,
idea of trauma. They
yeah,
like I romanticize the idea just to because it's a shorthand to get drama.
yeah,
It's a shorthand for them to get emotions out. But I
yeah,
think जिस तरह से आपने हल्के में वो सब कुछ दिखाया, I think it takes a very nuanced filmmaker to
yes,
have that impact. So for you, Aarti, it could have easily, I mean, you could have easily gone that way, like I said, completely, you know, like
yeah,
going full out, showing the rawness, basically
yeah,
glorifying the trauma that she goes through. But you really subtly hinted at it. And like you said, there's
yeah,
people who have gone through worse, who have said that
yes,
to you. But how difficult was it for you to actually make sure it is presented in a balanced way? Because it's not easy for every filmmaker to balance and to
yeah.
get that right tone.
Yeah.
as a
No,
filmmaker?
that's a very good question, and thanks for noticing it, because this was an exercise in restraint. We would I used to constantly tell my entire crew that this film is not like, you go there and shoot. This is a exercise in microsurgery. So we went through like like two phase two phases of short breakdown. We worked very hard on that. Like I wanted to capture like every glance, and I always told that there's one text of the story and then there's one subtext, and this film is all about subtext. How do we capture the subtext? How do we capture the details? And then the idea was that the details speak loud and let people capture it, like let people. I always felt, and I really believed in that classical filmmaking, where if you show and you don't tell, people actually lean in and they grasp the story and they feel the story more. And that was the idea. But even I didn't know that people would have captured it like that, or people would have, people would react to the film like that. Like while I was making it, I was just making it with my own sense of how the story would unfold. And I hope people would get the graph right, or get, the nuances right. But when I was making it, like, yeah, it was an exercise in restraint, and we were very conscious of when even Sanya would cry. In fact, I believe that she would cry only when she would fight back, because that is contrary to a personality of a girl like that. That she won't cry when all the time, because then it's easier to just keep her making her cry and push the background music. But I thought that will lessen her emotion. I wanted to show that she's a strong, resilient girl. Only time she cries is when she knows that she's fighting back, and that's sort of contrary to her personality also as a young girl, that to fight back, to do this, so, and she's being so much pushed in the corner, but she has no choice but to fight back, and that's when she cries like once or twice. So I was very careful about that, like, yeah. And I think
Yeah.
I'm happy that I had someone like Sanya who also was on board with those discussions. And so we did extensive rehearsals also. We had shortlisted the 6, 7 scenes which we thought were key scenes with him, with her, and Divakar, Nishan, played by Nishan, that and we would peg the graph that this will be this much. And even with Divakar, I constantly said, you will never shout at her. In fact, whenever you're angry, you will speak to her softly. You're not shouting. Only in the end he shouts. In fact, in that also I taken a take where he doesn't shout, but then kept the take where he shouts. But overall, he said that even is one of those people who will not be who will not shout when angry, but will say with so much firmness that the other person gets shook. So
Mm.
that was the idea, like, as such. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, what I like about this film as well is that you're not heavily self-indulgent in metaphors and motifs.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes, आज इतना ज्यादा मतलब people अपने आप को सत्यजीत रे समझते हैं, and they basically end up like भर भर के motifs डालते हैं just to kind of look intelligent and just to kind of
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
it look like it's a beautiful piece of art.
Yeah.
But it's just subtle things. Like, for example, I think it was the Shadi Ka Mahal, and I can't remember on top of my head because I watched the film some time back. But I think someone bumps into someone, like, there's someone like that's जो गिर रहा होता है या कुछ होता है. I can't remember. It was a very the way you had the Shadi wala scene where something is dropping या कुछ. I can't
Ah,
remember who it was.
balloons going up or something.
Yeah. And I think that was such a very subtle
Yeah.
foreshadowing you
Yeah.
had to kind
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
again, for you to not self-indulge in the motifs and
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
Who would you say really inspired you to keep that balanced filmmaking? Actually, that would be my question to you.
Yeah. No, it's something that I try to do. Like, I try to, when I'm making a film, I'm like kind of always meditating with the story, like how you meditate, but I play the film in my head. And for every scene, I want to always go back. Like, for example, I really wanted a shot of balloon hitting the ceiling, but I was like, from where will the balloon come? So, plant it earlier. Like, everything I see that it's a causal chain, right? Like, everything comes from where, like, even the pipeline leakage, like, we had a full graph at what point the buckets will switch, where what point she'll put the bucket, what point the bucket will go from smaller to bigger, so the two times bucket switch, and what point she would say things like that. She might have spoken to Ved Prakash about the leakage, and then he would have said that it's an old problem, it needs the whole replacement, the pipeline needs replacement for being fixed. So things like that, like, I do kind of add those things. But yeah, even I don't like going too indulgent, because I think if you pack in too much, then the audience don't take away any of the things. You should have the one or two things that you want to associate with the characters. Like, I felt that the balloon was her character. It was giving her hope in a way, even when the if the half air balloon goes up, she decides to cook for her father-in-law. So that was one thing. The other was pipeline, but we didn't pack in more things, like maybe the Russian dolls, but that was a brief I'd given to my production designer, that Russian doll is like, men give birth to men and women give birth to women in a patriarchal society. So we should have a Russian doll. But that was something for myself. Like, it's just also what elements to put in the story, like, or there's also the whole idea of mirrors in the film throughout. Like, the first shot is where she's with the small mirror, the last is a full-fledged mirror, and even in the bedroom there's a mirror. So it's not just also visual device, it's also the whole story is about a girl, pursuit for self actualization. So those were the things also I tried to plan throughout the film. So those were the little things, but not much. I think this is such a strong character drama, so I thought, like, let it be about the characters, let it be about what they feel and how they emote. But these are the small devices you plant, not just to fill frames or anything, but also to maybe make your theme stronger. So that is the
Mm,
whole idea. Yeah. So if you
right.
miss, it's okay. Yeah. But if you see, then you feel the story more, like, like some, like an intelligent audience like yourself will feel the story more. Yeah. Yeah. So.
I think my last question is a bit of a heavy loaded question because we have to wrap up soon.
Mhm.
Um, but I think number one is that, it's interesting because just in 2023, there was so much outrage against Animal, and
Mm.
people were having so many opinions about it. People were saying that this is bad for society, this is happening. And I feel like art in today's day and age has gone through such a trials and tribulations and such a big social media trial that
Yeah.
it's actually very exhausting, where I feel people are very confused.
Mm.
Are they outraged by the film, or are they outraged by the fact that such things actually exist in our
Mm.
society? And I feel like people have got that thought process warped. So
Mm.
firstly, what's your opinion on that? And do you think, um, do you think that, such media trials can be dangerous for art going forward? And secondly, now that you've made Mrs., which has obviously, been a very massive, it's been massive, right? The outreach that it's had, it's done really well on Z5 Global as a streaming platform as well. Um, what what would be your now focus as a filmmaker? What sort of stories would you like to tell now? So two
Yeah.
big questions.
Yeah. No, I feel that the art should not be scrutinized like that. I think art should exist. The whole job of art is also to make you uncomfortable. And a lot of good art is always some sort of disobedience. Like Mrs. also, I feel, is an act of disobedience. So I feel that people have, right to express through their stories, and you might disagree with the story, and that everybody has a full right to disagree with something, but to say that this should not exist because they disagree with is a dangerous territory. So I feel people have a right to make all kinds of films, and it's you as an audience, of course, like, will react to it, because we are all, that's the whole, reaction. In fact, it's good that you react to the art. That means you have a relationship with the art, but the art should exist. Even if you're disagreeing with Animal, I feel Animal should exist. If you're disagreeing with Mrs., also Mrs. should exist. Like, I feel that it should exist. So I really believe that people are definitely getting it wrong. And there's so much of cancel culture that it's like heartbreaking, like the kind of culture we are in. That, okay, I disagree with it, so just cancel everything about that film. Like, we shouldn't be there. All kinds of art should exist. And traditionally, we have had even more, like, we come from a civilization of a lot more outrageous art than right now what is getting made. So I don't understand why suddenly that is happening. But I hope this is a phase and people will get past it. And like, yeah, so the next question is, of course, I am very passionate about science fiction, and that has been my mission as a filmmaker to, bring science fiction stories. But, the way when you make a film like Mrs., which you make it as a director, but the film also makes you in a way that you grow as you make a film, right? Like, you do your research, you read your books, you also become more sensitized to an issue. Like, of course, I was aware this is what's happening, but I'm way more sensitized and attuned to it. I'm more aware of my female gaze that I bring to my stories. So it's impossible for me to not bring that to my future stories, whichever genre I speak in, like, And I want to also, I'm also fortunate that, like, with the kind of impact this film has had, I'm also become more cognizant of the impact of cinema. So I want to pack in more things that I feel I can, contribute to the society, but without, I don't like messaging. In fact, in Mrs. I was like very against having those jargons, like, those dialogues which will say, because I said, if you're saying those dialogues, then what is the point of making the film? Like the whole film is telling that. So, but I think a job of a filmmaker is not to tell solutions or anything, but also to ask questions. So maybe through my films, I can ask questions on other things also, like which you feel is like, is this the right or is this wrong? And that is the whole job. Answers nobody knows. You only can ask questions. So that's how I thought I would approach my other work as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, and hopefully approach with the same innocence I did my past work and Mrs. also. Yeah, yeah,
I think the lens matters, because I
yeah,
think Geo Baby did such a good job with The Great in the Kitchen being
yeah,
a
yes,
lens
yeah,
story. But the
yeah,
lens matters though, right? Would you say, Arti? Because I know there's that whole notion of females telling female-oriented stories, but
yeah, yeah.
essentially, if you look down to it and narrow it down, it's all a human thing. It's a human interest
Human
story,
interest
right?
story.
Rather
Yeah.
than a gender-oriented
I feel
story,
gender is
right?
very fluid. I feel a lot of men also have very sensitive and they can make these stories very effectively. And also a lot of females can men's, POV, one can story strong. But I also feel that, yeah, sometimes because I have a lived in experience, I can bring in some nuances that I feel that because of my personal experience or a female's experience, something they can bring. I hope, like for example, a trans story, someone else can make, but a trans man, what he goes through, it's something, the details he can only bring, and he can feel it. And the person who tells the narrator of the story is also important. Like the person who tells the story is also important. So that is also there. I really believe in that as well. Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Well, look, on that note, Arti, unfortunately, we have to wrap up there, but it's been such a pleasure to have you on Filming. I mean, we had a great chat last time
Yes,
about
yes,
Cargo as well, which was the first time I saw a director making a sci-fi film of this, definitely
yeah.
taking you out of space at this
Yes.
point.
Yes, yes, yes,
Really
yes,
wonderful.
yes. I feel very grateful. Thank you so much. It's so nice to talk to you. I was always looking forward to this conversation. So I'm so happy that we could connect. Yes,
Same here.
yes.
No, same here. And congratulations, and we definitely will
Done,
touch base
done, done.
again very
100.
soon.
Yes. Thank you.
Right, love.
Yeah.